Back at the D3Hoops.com Classic, wrapping it up from the South Point Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm Pat Coleman for D3Hoops.com, talking with Mike Schauer, the head coach of Wheaton men's basketball. Coach, wow, kind of a struggle for you guys this weekend, and you've brought a really young team here to this event.
Yeah, we're extraordinarily young, and we have no seniors. We really only have one junior that plays significant minutes or consistent minutes, and the rest of our minutes are freshmen and sophomores, and really the most significant addition, Aston Francis, comes in as a sophomore transfer, but he's new. So really, and even the sophomores who are back, none of those guys, with the exception of Luke Peters a little bit, got any playing time last year. So, we're kind of a work in progress. So, as funny as it sounds, and I told you this off the air before we got it, I'm still relatively pleased with where we are, given the simple reality, which is we are trying to learn on the fly. I'm playing guys that aren't quite physically or experientially ready to play the schedule we play. And, we play the Hardin-Simmons, the Chicagos, the Augies, we play the Calvins and the Plattevilles. We play a tough schedule every year, and that won't change. And so they're kind of learning on the fly, and we've had some good moments. This weekend was obviously a little more difficult, but I remain pretty positive about where we are long term.
Yeah, to be 5-6 this season, coming off of a 5-win year last year, with a win against Platteville, with a couple of other interesting wins and some competitive losses on your schedule. This is, I was impressed too.
Yeah, I'm really pleased. I mean, people, if they'll stay with us, and they may not, and if they don't, that's fine with me too. But if they'll stay with us, this team in a year or two is going to be a CCIW competitive basketball team. You look around our league, what I would compare us to in a lot of ways is maybe the North Park team of 2 years ago, who you could tell with Jawan Henry and with Robinson that their future was really good. Yeah. But they, those guys have yet to play in a CCIW tournament game. Well, that's about to change. I think they're going to do so this year. But 2 years ago, you could see it progressing, but they just weren't quite there. You knew those two young men were going to be sensational. So we're kind of in that process. Somebody like Aston Francis is going to get to be a very, very big-time scorer at our level once he kind of figures out all this other stuff that's going on with defending at our level and finding ways to get a little bit higher quality shots, those types of things.
So you mentioned, of course, no seniors, and that's clear from the roster. What happened to the class of 2017?
Yeah, fortunately, Pat, my faith does not allow me to lie about stuff. So the truth is, it's a really poor recruiting class, and there's no other really depth to that story. It was never a great class in terms of talent. We had a couple of young men I really liked who, for a variety of reasons, didn't stick with the institution or the program. I candidly am not sure, with the exception of maybe one of them, they would have been playing significant minutes anyway as a senior. So just not a very good recruiting class, which is obviously on me, and that's the candid answer.
For your first game here against UC Santa Cruz, I think it was a game we expected you guys to win, certainly based on how you guys had played throughout the course of the season, and it just seemed like the team came out completely flat and never figured out where the energy should come from.
No, correct. And so again, that's on me. We had not done that all year. We had gotten beat, but rarely without competing. We were down 31 at Chicago with 12 minutes to go or whatever, and fought all the way back. So we were a team that, we've been a team that has just fought all year. I thought the first game against UC Santa Cruz, and first of all, I thought they played great. So I think anytime you start to suggest that there's something else is a disservice to them. But I was displeased with our team's effort in that game significantly, and thought that was one of the very first times all year that our youth really showed from an effort standpoint. And the danger with that, of course, is you can play really hard, which I thought we did tonight, and not be good enough to beat a Hardin-Simmons yet. Yeah. The danger is if you pull no-shows in terms of effort against opponents of similar talent level like UC Santa Cruz, you're going to get beat too. So we're just fighting for some consistency. I'm looking forward to get back into the league with familiar opponents, even though in a lot of ways they're better than some of the teams we've played here. But I think that familiarity will help us a little bit.
There are a lot of teachable moments for you guys. I think especially in the second game here, the one against Hardin-Simmons, you call a timeout pretty quickly, and then you call a timeout like pretty much the next trip down the floor, and you're pretty irate. What was that about?
Yeah, so we had a couple, like everybody else, you have a couple scouting report goals, and so I take that first time out just to kind of say, hey, we weren't rotating we weren't rotating as anybody would rotate, much less the way the scouting report, and had given up a couple of relatively easy baskets. Got on them for that, and then called a play at the end of the timeout because obviously it was our possession, and we go down and immediately don't run it. And there's only two reasons a team does that. They either are indifferent, don't care, rebellious, or they're just kind of young and not really. They got to learn. Well, I don't think my team is the former. I think it's the latter. And so, they're kind of learning even their own voice. I mean, who's in charge on the floor? Who tells everybody what to do? And so that obviously got me a little bit fired up, because that's dangerous. If your team won't listen to what you're telling, going out of timeouts and sort of stuff's gonna be hard to win.
So you come out of here with not a whole lot of momentum, right? But I think you brought some momentum out of your first couple of conference games. So how do you kind of turn it back on? And this, of course, is a new thing for you guys in the CCIW, having had conference games before the break. How do you recapture that?
I actually thought I was pretty pleased with tonight. I thought we played very, very hard. And so what I told my team is, if I don't have to coach effort, which I had to coach that from the first night, if I don't have to coach effort, we can coach basketball. So I can teach them how to rotate and how to get better shots and what to do when teams switch and all this stuff that an older team knows from experience and coaching that this team just doesn't. I mean, I'm literally teaching them how to deal with switches kind of on the fly, because they haven't done it. And even when you tell them, when they first experience it, for them to sort of recognize it's happening and deal with it. So I'm actually not that concerned about the momentum, because I think the danger for this team with that, we sort of set any sort of tangible goals beyond this is our goal. We're going to compete every night. I want us to build culture, to have a team that continues to love each other and love the process and want to get better, and then just to improve. And if we do those things and build momentum, if we were to come back here in 2 years, I think the results would be different for us.
Well, first of all, do please come back in 2 years. We would love that. The last kind of basketball question I want to ask you is, does Hardin-Simmons make the playoffs in the CCIW?
That's a great question. I think in most years the answer to that would probably be no. I think in this year we lack, I don't know that we have the truly dominant CCIW teams that we've had in the past, where they would struggle in the CCIW with teams besides us and our youth. Is a team like Augie, a team like Wesleyan would just roll out big body after big body that could defend 40 and 45 in ways that we couldn't tonight, and the ways a lot of teams around the league, around the country can't. So it would be very, very close. I think they're comparable to the Augie team we played. I think on a neutral floor I'd favor Augie slightly, because they have size that I don't think Hardin-Simmons sees very often.
As you may be able to tell by the background noise and the people walking through our camera shot, they're trying to tear this down. This is, of course, we just completed the last game. But the last thing I want to ask you is something we ask all the coaches and all the players is, what are the other, now that the basketball is done especially, what are the Las Vegas-y type things you guys have planned?
Well, you're familiar with my institution, so it's probably not quite the same everybody else is
I was really looking forward to the answer to this question.
Yeah, so we have not participated in a lot of the stuff other people do. So, our guys, as funny as it sounds, I don't have anybody on my team. I think Ricky Samuelson is the only person that's ever been to Vegas on my team. So, again, given the type of young man Wheaton attracts, Vegas is not a hot spot for our kids to visit. So,
and I guess you don't have any 21-year-olds either.
Yeah, we don't have any 21-year-olds. So they walked the strip last night. Some of them went to a couple of the shows with family members. I've kind of given them an open night tonight. So I think most of them will probably head back there, catch a show with mom and dad. So they've enjoyed it. This experience has been great, Pat. I mean, I'm glad we're here despite the results. I think it's been a unique and very well-run event, and certainly a place that I would encourage others to go to, and we certainly would consider coming back.
So Mike Schauer endorses the D3Hoops.com Classic, and we've told you many times how to get your team involved. So for Mike and for everybody here, we wrap it up from the D3Hoops.com Classic in Las Vegas.